Welcome to 2025, where all your dreams happen, and day after day, there's new shenanigans. Because, yep, I almost didn't make it back. I almost didn't make it back. Um, I'm calling this my hibernating era. I'm with the animals right now. I'm embracing the cold. I'm in my Snuggy Wuggy era. I am dissociating, playing games. Yeah, cause 2025 didn't come to play. It just said I already knew it was gonna be crazy. That's the reason why I absorbed the holidays. I enjoyed myself very much so, cause I knew 2025 was gonna be lit. But I honestly, I didn't expect it to come in this hard. Nothing can prepare you for the evils that are going on. And something that gets me is a very sad fact to me is how they can use innocent innocent people to either hide their crimes, be in the middle of their crimes, while you have some people who know what's going on, but at the same time rely on the expect more from the powers that be. It's like you know that they're trash, but it's like a times now it's giving an abusive, toxic, narcissistic relationship, and the victim just keeps coming back expecting them to change and are going to constantly fight for that change. But all they're going to do is fight it. All they're going to do is play into the hand. And it's very interesting to me. It's interesting to watch, like from TikTok when they were looming that over everyone's head. And I just knew. I was like, that. And then right now it's like the most alarming part is that they're sprinkling tragedies all over. They're doing stuff all over. They're causing chaos all over, basically to cause a problem so that they can provide a solution. That's exactly what's going on right now. And people are playing into the hand. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. I remember when the TikTok ban happened and everybody was doing the revolution, and I was just watching. I'm like, really, y'all really playing into this? Like, we're going to everybody do this. Everybody, what was it? We're boycotting Meta. We're going to Red Note, which is Little Red Book, and oh, we love it over there. Oh, the people are just so nice. And I'm like, guys, who, first off, who recommended an app that no one could understand? And the interesting thing about it, when you look at the reviews for the app itself, it didn't have really great reviews. So, and then the second thing is, how was the app prepared for so many people to come on their servers right off? So that's alarming, a red flag. So it's like they were prepared for that. Then who brought it up? I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not that it matters, but I'm curious to know who put the bug in the void for Red Note to even be an option, or Little Red Book, because it's not even Red Note. Little Red Book, because it's like Red Note makes it sound better than what it is, but Little Red Book, it's like nobody's picking it up. And then you have people saying that it's so much better, they live so much better, and it's like, let's weigh the options. Like let's look at the history. Like, let's appreciate where we are without fantasizing or glamorizing another spot, because every country has their issues. What, just because you highlight some benefits doesn't negate all the other issues that could be going on. It's like nobody's factoring in how the real situation over there, and how maybe people aren't being fully honest with you and forthcoming in their being nice because of a credit system that doesn't allow them, or it would behoove them to not be negative concerning the way that they live, their government, and things like that. So I just think that that's very, very interesting. You know, I think this togetherness that's going on, how everybody, not everybody, I'm talking about this radical side or fear mongering and hyper alarmed side that's going to be alarmed by every agenda and propaganda that's thrown in their face and try to do something about it. The alarming thing about it is it just it really reminds me of the Sabrina show that's on Netflix. And she didn't want to sign her soul to the devil, even though she didn't realize that she was literally Satan's daughter, but that's besides the point. But she also basically essentially didn't want to go on God's side. So she wanted to do things in her own power. And that's what I'm watching people do right now. They're trying really, really hard to do things in their own power. And it's actually comical because the end result for Sabrina is every single time she was like, single time she did something, she actually made it worse. And then she had to go back and try to fix it, and on and on and on again. And then she essentially caused the apocalypse herself. And then she ended up having to sacrifice herself in the end. But it was like, girl, there's only two options. There's nothing in the middle. There's no such thing as a middle ground. It's just that the evil side, the devil's camp, doesn't care what you choose as long as it's not the actual faith in Jesus Christ. So I'm just watching everybody be fearful. And that's kind of why I almost didn't come back. Because I was just like, let's just see how this plays out. Let's just, maybe this isn't for me. It's like, I see how this year is going to go. I see how they're going to unfold. This is like nothing. I feel like even right now, they're numbing, they're I don't know what it's called, but when you throw stuff and throw stuff and throw stuff at people, it terrorizes them where they don't do the very thing that they should do. And I'm watching that right now. It's like, or it makes it kind of gives 2020 all over again, where people want the peace to come back, so then they do the very thing that they shouldn't do. And then it's like, and then there's no apologies, and then they flat out tell you that they lied. And then you don't hear anybody come back and be like, oh, maybe I was wrong. Or that it's like, no, people just tell you to go get it. No, you do this. You're being selfish. You're being selfish. And I find that every propaganda that they come out with, the voices that sound the loudest are those who think that they can do things in their own power, and they don't really pay attention to what's really going on behind the scenes. Because they think that the world can actually be saved when it's actually just, it can't be saved. It's been on a downward spiral since the beginning of time anyway. So I don't know. I think that's where I stand. It's just like, I guess the ignorance is very interesting to me. The ignorance is very interesting. How some people really can't see it, or is it that people don't want to see it and don't care because they only care about the things that they desire in their own comforts? And that I'm leaning towards that. And I never thought that, I always knew growing up that we were living in the last days and things, but to see things go now and how the re-education has worked and how they've gotten young people, I feel like starting from a particular presidency, I feel like they introduced young people into politics, and I think that was one of the biggest can of worms that should have never been opened, because I think the innocence of a child would desire a thing that's not really zoomed out, more zoomed in, and plays way too much into the devil's hand. And that's kind of what you have now. I feel like we have people who are fighting for something that they caused for you to fight for, so that therefore they can provide the solution, which isn't really a solution. It's just a new problem. And then I can already see it unfolding, how things are going to build up where people are just going to literally hate even more, have even more hate than they already do for Christians. I can already see it. People are going to get tired of the fear mongering and, oh, we've already heard that before. It kind of reminds me, not, it kind of reminds me, everything. It's like there's a lot to unpack. That's why I was like, I feel like it was go start. But it reminds me of when I was dissecting Santa Baby by Kim Kardashian. Very eye-opening. If you really pay attention, you will see that that is revealing what is going on behind the scenes. From the talking on the phone in the beginning, and I think it's funny when it comes to Red Note, it's like, they don't want us to interact. And I was like, well, behind the scenes, they're very much so getting along. I don't think that that's an issue. I think it's more of a top versus bottom issue, not a this issue. They want you to come together. They want a togetherness so that they can be on the top and you just be here. That's what we're moving into. So it's like, by you just being like, oh yeah, I got you, and not realizing how much power that they have is very interesting. But in the Santa Baby, there's a part in there. Oh, there's a part in there where you see what's the daddy's name? Oh, Bruce. Caitlyn. You see what looks like Caitlyn laying on the counter, and then you see a lady who I know who that looks like, basically cutting down a Christmas tree. And I'm like, okay, some people are going to be upset. People are already upset about certain rights being taken away and things like that. And then as it goes along and it pans along, you can just see what looks like Kendall laying, and then you have somebody laying on the couch and just looking annoyed, and then you see a man counting the money, and all along you just see Kim slithering on the floor, kind of giving this year the year of the snake, and she's just slithering on the floor through each scene, which is different moments. I feel like this year, or a span of years, I don't know, as I've looked into it, I was like, I hope not all in one year, but it's kind of giving all in one year. But it looks like a span of 4 years, maybe. Who knows? Because the Olympics was in there, so I don't know. Everything is speculative. But you can see as time goes on, there was the Christians singing, and everybody's just like, whatever. The girl closes the door on the carolers at the door and just like, whatever. And she has this revolution type of jacket on. And it's just very interesting how they know what the plan is. They know what we're moving into. But it's like everybody else kind of gets caught up in each individual event that goes on, very emotionally charged. Not just helping, but just getting very outraged and very emotional. And I can see the group thing. I noticed this last year when a big event was going on. That's mitigated now. And the group think goes crazy that anybody came against it. It was just like, no. But I felt like nobody did research. Nobody did their own research to see history. I feel like if you want to do full research, you have to look both sides. You can't just look at the side that you like. You have to see both sides and go all far back. You don't depend on man to tell you anything. You need to use your own discernment. So I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like this is why I didn't come back, because I find that times like these, I just want to protect my own peace, and I just want to keep my own joy, keep my own sanity. But something that helps me is hearing that I'm not alone, that you know, not everybody's off their rocker, and that can provide comfort. So, but yeah, another thing to look into, yes, was the Eco magazine. Well, no, before I get into that, is Squid Games. How I was trying to figure out the significance of Squid Games and how that's playing into this year, because I noticed that they do things in sequence ahead of time and whatever like that. But how Squid Games ended, it was very eye opening, because there's two sides, and it seemed like those who wanted to play always overrode. And then this time you had the leader of the game actually playing the game. And then you have the main character who won the money from last season. He comes back and he thinks that he's going to outsmart the leader of the game to try to end the games. But then I always bring it to real life, because I know that they always try to tell you something. They tell you what they're going to do before they do it. And something that I thought was very interesting about the main character is that he didn't recognize that the main man was right in front of him, because he didn't pay attention to the little clues before he even got there. He thought he was just going to I feel like he underestimated just how evil and calculated and smart the leader actually was. So you see, as the leader like sabotages the game, and the games continue to go on because people want to pay off their debts or whatever like that. But then I was like, we're in this very game. The game doesn't start. There's society that goes along. That's like the old way of doing things. But then you have this new game, and I feel like it's the internet. And you have a bunch of players. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Everybody wants to be a star. But nobody's really paying, and everybody's out for themselves, and they're not paying attention. And you have somebody that's actually trying to help, but nobody wants to listen. It's just like whatever, every man for themselves. And then you have people want to get off the train, and you can't get off the train. And I feel like that's what we're on. We're on a train that's going to keep going on, because the majority is going to continue to play these games. They're going to continue to feed into all the events that are presented, and they're going to be emotionally charged and fight back and fight back and fight back. And then it's like, if you look at Economist magazine 2025, I never even knew about this, but I guess because of the significance of 2025 and how it's just been rearing up year after year, I feel like this one the cover was very loaded. And when you look at what they plan, like even to, I don't know if I can even say, the DizX that's going on in GoCon, flip those around. And how it's over here now in a little section. I was like, are you going to try to do 2020 all over again? And they just keep on planting these little bits of chaos. And I can just see them, like, even with what was going on in California, which is really, really tragic. And you just see where they're going and how they want to create these smart cities and this control. And you just see how people are just nervous and fighting. And if you don't do something, you're nobody. And you can just kind of see this frantic, like Sabrina from Netflix, like, you're just going to do if I don't do anything, And it's like, when in reality, everything's chaos. You're not really together, and even if you are together, you're creating this alliance against something else. It's always us against something else. It's always not everybody. Everybody isn't going to get along. You see how divided our country was during the election. There is no such thing as everybody just coming together as a collective. That does not work without somebody controlling the narrative to put everybody in line. So the fact that I see that people are fighting for that, that is very alarming. And not alarming because it terrifies me. It's alarming because it's just like, for me, it's like, we've been telling you what's going on. Like, were you asleep? Like, why are you shocked that things are getting worse? Why are you shocked that this is really happening? But it's like, I guess if you don't believe, and then when you see things happen to real people in real time, then it's just like, oh no, oh my gosh, I have to do something about it. And then it's just like, you just see this hate. I'm noticing all of this hate that's coming out of certain individuals, and I'm just like, oh wow, it's never been about love this whole time. It's just been about comfortability and what makes you happy. And you can't hear somebody else's side if it doesn't agree with your side. It has to be my way or the highway. And I don't think that's right. And for so long, I feel like that scared me, because I feel like a certain side had so much power for so long. And I don't go with either side. I don't think it's a left versus right. It's never been a left versus right. It's from the very beginning. They had a plan, and they're just following through the plan, and they're long suffering. Very patient with a very impulsive generation, I find, that doesn't know how to delay gratification. And I'm just watching it play out. I'm watching it all unfold. And I know that this is just the beginning, and it's just meant to cripple you with fear and to do the very thing that they desire. Oh yeah, like the Dior bags and things like that. It's just so much. It's so much going on, and they're going to continue to do a lot. And the thing about it is, it doesn't matter, because they're going to get what they want. They want togetherness. They want this oneness. That's what they're moving towards. But it's a separation between the top and the bottom. It's either you're in or you're out, and you're going to play the game or be dragged along. You got to either be aware of what's going on and be strategic, or be scared in the corner, hope it goes away, and then let life pass you by, because at the end of the day, life is going to keep lifing. Or you're going to be the very destruction that plays into the very hand that you feel have stolen from you, or you feel the greedy, and you have bottom greedies fighting the top greedies. And it's just like, selfish, eye for an eye never works, and selfish fighting another selfish person doesn't work. Like, it's like, I don't know. The moral of the story is don't take the bait. Protect your peace. A lot of things are going to continue to happen to try to steal your joy. But we're not going to let them steal our joy, our peace. We're going to remain grounded, do things to remind ourselves that this place, this earth, was never meant to be what they're trying to get us to fight for. There's no such thing as peace on earth. That was relinquished from the beginning of time. And awareness, I feel like, can be one of the roots of all evil when you don't know what to do with it. So stay intuitive, keep your peace, dissociate if you need to. That's what I would be doing, playing games, know what's going on, but don't get too involved in things that you don't need to be involved in. And that's what I will be doing. And yes, love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.